So in the penalty shootout, we saw Manchester winning the UEFA Super Cup finals by 4-1, and it is Manchester City Erling Haaland who scored the first goal in the penalty shootout. Then the second goal came from Sevilla, and that's their first goal came in the first penalty shootout. It was Ocampos who scored the first penalty, and he scored a goal for Sevilla. Then the second penalty came for the Manchester City, and who took the penalty? Let's check it out. It was Alvarez who scored the second penalty for Manchester City. Now the second shootout for Sevilla was scored by Rafa Mir. So in first two penalties it is 2-2. Then the third, here we go, in the third penalty shootout of this penalty shootout, it was for Manchester City, Kovacic who scored the third penalty shootout, and he scored the third goal for Manchester City in the penalty shootout. Then we saw the third goal, and in the penalty shootout for Sevilla, it was Rakitic who scored the third goal for Sevilla. So after three penalties, Manchester City 3, Sevilla 3. Then we saw the fourth penalty from Manchester City, and who took the penalty? It was number 10, Jack Grealish, who scored the fourth penalty, and he scored the fourth goal for Manchester City. Now after moving forward, the fourth goal came for Sevilla, and the fourth penalty shootout for Sevilla was scored. It was number 4 who scored the goal for Sevilla side, and it was Montiel who scored the fourth goal for Sevilla. So with that, it was 4-4 after four penalty shootouts. Now the last and final penalty shootout took by Manchester City player, and it was number 2, Walker, who scored the fifth penalty for the Manchester City. And with that, he made sure that Manchester City don't go in the sudden death of penalties. And with that, he scored the fifth goal, and Manchester City won it very easily. Now it was Goodale who missed the opportunity for Sevilla in the penalties. So that's what happened in the penalties. So it is Manchester City who wins in the penalty, because the last penalty from Sevilla team who taken, he missed the last opportunity, and that's the reason why Manchester City wins very easily after penalty shootout, and the final scores are 5-4. Well, it was a great game. In the first 90 minutes, it was Palmer who scored the goal for the Manchester City. Then we saw a goal in the 25th minute by Sevilla. It was En Naseri who scored a goal by a header. So that's all has happened in the game. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to like the video and subscribe the channel.